What is the illusion, and how does that relate to our spiritual awakening? When things feel so real, like ego and fear and conditioning, how do we move beyond the illusion? When I close my eyes, I sense the veils. Some are filmy and others thick, but none of them are real.
Welcome. You have entered the realm of 1111 Talk Radio. Your host is Simran. It's time to discover your own language with the universe. Empower yourself, broaden your mind, open your heart, and discover who you are. Now, here's your host, Simran.
Welcome. We are here for another solo episode. When I began my own spiritual journey, it was not necessarily consciously. I was in the fashion industry. I had been for a very long time. And it all really began by writing a blog. I started a fashion blog that I titled Beyond the Illusion. So some part of me, a very unconscious part of me, was leading me without me even knowing it. That's what I find so interesting about our life experience. We really do think we're in control, and yet we have no control at all. We think that we're guiding life and we're steering, but something deep inside of us, something bigger than us, is actually steering the entire time. So I began this fashion blog titled Beyond the Illusion. The fashion articles started to shift into psychospiritual, self-help, contemplative articles. And well, the rest is history. The door opened, and I really wanted to understand life. I wanted to ask all the questions and find all the answers. So almost 30 years later, have I asked all the questions and found all the answers? I'm still asking questions. I don't know that I have any answers, and I've discovered that it is the question that actually leads the way. And that's part of the illusion. I think we keep looking for answers, but it's not the answer that we want. It's actually letting go of the answers that I believe is the most intriguing and fulfilling part of releasing who we are for the embrace of what we are. And such is the rhetoric when it comes to reality and illusion. It's nebulous. It's hazy. It can be confusing. And yet, to an individual who has truly allowed themselves to dip and dive within the full range of their emotion, their darkness, and their light, it's also clear. So what is illusion? Well, in the context of spiritual awakening, illusion is not simply a trick of the eye. It's not a sleight of hand or a fantasy. It's not something conjured by the mind. Illusion is the veil that covers the deeper reality of your being. It's the mask that you wear, that we all wear. It's the stories that we repeat. It's the conditioning that we have bought into. It's the transient, the things that we actually mistake for the eternal. From the moment we are born, we are surrounded by layers of illusion. I mean, we kind of inherit a lot of illusion. It's generational. It's passed down. We are marinating in it within the womb. We are surrounded by it once we enter a family. We are told who we are, what is possible, what's impossible, what's right, what's wrong. We inherit the beliefs from our families and our cultures and our societies. We start to follow like sheep in many cases. We see a lot of that happening in the world now. We become opinionated, take sides. We adopt roles: daughter, son, student, worker, friend, lover, partner, enemy, victim, villain, sinner, angel. We learn to seek approval, to avoid pain, to chase after success, love, and security. And yet, beneath all of this, there is a deeper truth, a silent, unchanging presence that is our soul. There was once a young woman who spent her life striving for perfection. She believed that if she could just do everything right, she would be finally worthy of love. She wore a mask of competence, of kindness, of always being okay, but inside she felt hollow, disconnected from her own heart. One day, she sat in silence and asked herself, "Who am I, really, beneath all these roles and expectations?" And when she did that, she felt a wave of sadness and then a deep peace. She realized that her true self was not the mask that she wore, but the one who was aware of the mask, the silent witness, the loving presence underneath. That person was me. I've been there. And although that story was short and seemed like the awareness came very quickly, it took decades. It's been an unfolding. It's why I continually say to people, you're not on a journey, you are the journey. Because this is part of the beauty of us being human. It is about uncovering this journey beyond illusion. It is every nuance and moment and experience and story that helps us to recognize that we are not these things we've been told. We're not the stories, nor the identities that we've constructed. We are the awareness that sees, the presence that witnesses, and the love that endures. But getting to that awareness requires a deepening into self, some really powerful work, diving into our shadows and masks, and redirecting ourselves toward our soul compass. I've been really inspired lately to begin mentoring again one-on-one. And so if you go to my website at IamSimran.com, you will see a lot of these types of immersions, because I find that the most change occurs in those one-to-one interactions. And it is the place where that communion, that understanding of what's real beyond the illusion can actually take place. Collectively, we see the illusion in the world around us. We see it in the pursuit of endless consumption, in this belief that happiness is somewhere outside of us, in this idea that we are separate from one another, in the fear plaguing our world over so many situations. We see it in the way that we mistaken the surface for substance and the temporary for timeless. That is the illusion. But the invitation of the soul is always the same. The soul is asking us to look deeper. The soul is asking us to question. It is asking us to awaken. I want you to take a moment and really think about this. Where in your life have you mistaken the mask for the face? We've all done that, right? With ourselves and with others. Who we think we are, at some point we realize, oh, wait a minute, that was just a mask. That was just a shadow. Or we meet someone that we feel is one way, and then after experience we come to find out, wow, that's not who they are at all. Here's another. Where have you chased after shadows, believing that they were substance? The subtle, the deceptive intelligence is really tricky. It can make us think something is light and it's actually shadow. It can have us perceive something as darkness and that's actually illuminating. It's so paradoxical. And that's why the presence, the intuition, and our inquiry is vital. Where and when have you accepted someone else's story as your own? Is that something that happened with you in regard to politics? Do you just follow along? Is it something that happened in relationship, where you simply followed the storyline? Is it something that happened since childhood around generational health issues or money issues in regard to how your parents viewed money. We pick up all kinds of stories, and then we create these illusions in our lives. It's important to allow the questions to ripple through awareness, not to be judged, but as gentle invitations for awakening. I offer a lot of those kinds of prompts weekly on my Substack at Beyond the Illusion. I am SIMRAN1111.substack.com. If you become an annual subscriber or a founding member, you'll get those weekly contemplations, plus the follow-up meditation and practices. It's quite powerful. A wonderful way to have a rhythmic self-study that keeps you on track. Now let's get back to our conversation about the illusion and recognizing the veils. The veils of illusion are really subtle. They're not going to be obvious or dramatic, and oftentimes they're woven from the very threads of everyday life. Our habits, assumptions, our fears, our desires, all those things that operate just beneath the surface of our consciousness. And the ego is well-meaning. It's trying to protect us. And in doing so, it created many of these veils. It is the ego that tells you you're not enough. It's the ego that's whispering, you must prove yourself. It's the ego that's warning you, if you show your true self, you will not be loved. Fear is a strong indicator and another weaver of illusion. It's going to convince you that you're separate, that we must compete, that our world is dangerous and scarce. The ego keeps us small, hidden, and silent. It will always want to distract you from your true power, because initially it really just wanted to keep you safe. But now you must outgrow that ego in order to reclaim your true self, in order to move beyond the illusion. Conditioning has its effects, and what conditioning is the sum total of our upbringing, our culture, the experiences we had, and these layers add up upon one another. And then we become accustomed to seeing the world through these layers or veils, so much so that we forget they're even there. So how do we go back and begin to recognize these veils? Well, it really does start with self-inquiry. It starts with the willingness to pause, to turn inward, and to begin asking yourself questions. Things like, what are the stories I tell myself about who I am? Or, where am I not seeing clearly? What beliefs do I hold that may not be true? It might be more empowering questions like, what fears keep me from living authentically? Or where do I feel constricted, limited, or out of alignment? I want you to close your eyes and bring to mind an area of your life where you feel stuck or dissatisfied. And now ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about this situation? Is it true? Is it absolutely true? What might be possible if I saw this through the eyes of love rather than fear? Allow whatever comes up to be held without judgment. Sometimes the simple act of just noticing a veil is enough to begin it dissolving. Other times, that awareness of the veil is going to invite more questions and ask you to go deeper. The main thing that you have to remember is that the goal is not really to eradicate the ego. We need the ego. It has its purpose. And it's not really to banish fear either, but to recognize them for what they are. They have been guardians, protective mechanisms, but they're not the truth. When we see the veils, we come to a point of choice where we can look beyond them. The veils give us that doorway where we can choose to respond with deeper wisdom of the soul rather than the reactive patterns of the past. The veils point us towards who we've been and also towards who we can become. This is at the heart of spiritual awakening. We're not here to transcend humanity. In fact, most of us haven't even yet tapped into it. The majority of people on the planet think that their mask or their identity is humanity, but it's not. It's just a veil, a mask, one that can crack very easily in the right circumstances, with the right experiences. And we tend to attract those things for that very purpose. We're here to embrace our true humanity, and we do that by infusing it with the light of awareness and compassion and truth, by bringing the darkness to light, and by embracing it all and loving it. Stepping beyond illusion and into truth, it's a process. It is a gentle peeling back of layers. It requires the courage to turn toward ourselves and a willingness to see what is real. I find that journaling and writing has been a very powerful way to explore the many aspects of me. It's just one way that I utilize. And so if you spend a few minutes each day just letting yourself write freely without censorship or expectation, you may discover some things about yourself. Now, oftentimes we can't get to these deeper layers on our own. We'll touch certain levels, but the very depths of it sometimes we can't see, because the unconscious is unconscious. And that's where a good mentor or a guide comes in, particularly if you're dealing with masks and identities, or some of the archetypes that can be hidden. Again, you can find my options on my website, and I invite you to explore them, or to find someone that you really trust to work with. We have these ways of pretending that we don't know something, where we hide, where we ask why about the wrong questions, where we don't really explore what it is that we want to express, and we allow ourselves to stay the same. There's so many ways to do this work. The personal growth path and that of self-realization can be deeply healing when it's done with gentleness and compassion. It really does invite you to witness yourself and to honor your vulnerability, to affirm your inherent worth. It's a path that we all begin, and usually that beginning is going to be around 33. Most people start asking those questions between 30 and 38. Why am I here? Who am I? You're going to ask them again in your 50s. We are cycles and rhythms. And all along the way, even when you don't think you know who you are, take the time to look in the mirror, into your own eyes, and say, I see you. I honor your journey. I'm willing to see beyond the masks and into the truth of my soul. I see you. I honor your journey. I'm willing to see beyond the masks and into the truth of my soul. Whenever you feel caught in illusion, if you're overwhelmed by fear and doubt or confusion, bring your attention to your heart. Place your hand over your chest and breathe deeply. And ask, what does my heart know to be true? And listen for that voice. The truth is, most often and always, simple, gentle, and clear. It's not going to shout or demand. It will whisper, you are enough, you are loved, you are whole. You are enough, you are loved, you are whole. Imagine a lotus flower growing in a muddy pond. Perhaps you've seen one at a botanical garden or out somewhere on a hike. Its roots are buried in darkness, but it rises inch by inch toward the surface. And then it finally bursts into bloom, untouched by the mud that it came from, radiant in its color, pink, violet, yellow. We are like the lotus. Our illusions, our struggles, our pain, these are the mud. But our soul is always reaching for the light, always seeking to bloom in truth. The mud is not the end of your story, not the end of mine, not the end of theirs either. It's the beginning. It's the fertile ground from which our awakening rises. When we step into truth, it's not going to be a one-time event. You will find yourself at that doorway again and again and again. Opening to truth is a daily practice. It's a choice to be honest with ourselves, to question our assumptions, to act with integrity, and to keep speaking with authenticity. It is the daily act of willing to be seen, to be vulnerable, to be real, to be authentic as ourselves. It's the courage to let go of what no longer serves, even when it's familiar or comfortable. It's the faith to trust that as we align with our truth, our lives will unfold in greater harmony, joy, and freedom. I'm sure there are areas, one or more in your life, where you sense a longing for greater truth. You might be in a relationship, facing a decision or a dream you've not yet dared to pursue. Ask yourself, what would it look like to live my truth in this area? What is one small step I can take today to move beyond the illusion and into authenticity? And hold this question in your heart. I look forward to sharing the meditation in the next section. We'll deepen. In my new trilogy, I hope that you will pick it up. It is titled Living the 7 Blessings of Human Experience, which goes into your personality, identity, and the part of you that you think is conscious but is actually walking unconscious in the world. The second book is Being, the 7 illusions that derail personal power, purpose, and peace. The illusions that we have gotten caught up in, like time, money, hierarchy, war, even identity. The third book is Knowing, the 7 human expressions of grace, ways that you can rise into giving yourself the graces that are required to open up to higher and higher grace. I invite you to pick that up and open it as oracles while you read any other books. Click the link in the bio description below. We'll be right back after these messages.
SIMRAN is an award-winning author, publisher of 1111 Magazine, powerful speaker of wisdom, and a life mentor. Find out more at IamSimran.com. Now, back to 1111 Talk Radio.
Click the link in the bio description below. The 1111 Collective on Substack. Become an annual subscriber or a Master Founder member and start to also receive 1111 Magazine on audio. It is an honor and a privilege to have you there. Breathe in and breathe out. What is one small step I can take today to move beyond the illusion and into authenticity? Hold this question in your heart, not just for a moment, like spend a week on it, listening for the answer. Deepening, deepening, deepening. I want to take you into a meditation, let you go a little bit deeper into this inquiry beyond the illusion. If you're driving, don't do this. And if you're not, I invite you to find a comfortable position, seated or lying down, wherever you are, breathing in and out, allowing your body to settle, your shoulders to drop, and your hands to rest gently in your lap or at your sides. If it feels safe, softly close your eyes and begin with the breath, the sacred bridge between body and spirit. Take a slow, deep inhale through your nose, filling your lungs with nourishing air. Hold for a moment at the top of the breath. Gently exhale, releasing any tension or tightness. Again, inhale deeply, feeling your belly expand. Pause. Exhale slowly, letting go of the day, letting go of any expectations, letting go of all that is not needed in this moment. Continue to breathe in this way. Each inhale drawing in clarity and light. Each exhale releasing what no longer serves you. Inhale and exhale. As you settle into this rhythm, imagine a gentle mist surrounding you. a soft silvery veil representing the illusions that have gathered around you through the years. There might be multiple veils. They may feel like gossamer fabric fluttering in the wind. These beliefs, fears, stories, and patterns that may have once served you, but now they obscure your vision. With each breath, sense the veils becoming thinner or more transparent. Feel your awareness sharpening, your heart opening, your soul awakening to the possibility of seeing beyond the illusion into the truth of who you are. Rest here in this sacred space of breath and presence for a few moments. And when you're ready, gently bring your attention back to the sound of my voice, carrying with you the intention to journey beyond the illusion and into the radiant light of your truth. As we come to a close of this episode, I invite you to commit to one act of truth-seeking this week. Perhaps it's having an honest conversation with a loved one or yourself. Perhaps it's writing in your journal and spending time in silent reflection. Maybe it's simply pausing each day and asking yourself, what is true for me right now? Remember, the journey beyond illusion is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about the willingness to see, to question, to awaken. You're not alone on this path. We are all walking together, each of us peeling back the veils, and each one of us reaching for the light. As you move through your days, you may see beyond the illusion and rest in the clarity of your soul's truth. May you remember that you are the witness, the awareness, and the love that endures. May you walk in beauty, in courage, and in grace. May you be blessed with truth, peace, and the radiant light of your own soul. And if you feel like you need support in any areas, simply want the loving kindness of a sacred witness, or want to deepen into areas of the unconscious, I would be honored to work with you. Just check out my work at IamSimran.com. Do join my Substack. My publication is Beyond the Illusion, and you can find it at IamSimran1111.substack.com. That link is in the bio description. You'll actually receive all of the 1111 magazine issues on audio as part of that, in addition to the weekly prompt, inquiry, contemplation, and meditation that I provide to all of the subscribers on the annual membership. Thank you so much for spending time. Until next week, in love, of love, with love and as love, be well.
Thank you for opening your mind to a new reality, your heart to greater compassion, and your experience of aliveness with 1111 Talk Radio. Join host Simran next Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Time to step through the gateway of conscious living. You are not on the journey. You are the journey.